evening, race fans. My name is Jacob Fescannon here on behalf of Team Goon Squad. Proud to bring you the season finale of the Crazy Dogs T-shirt Xfinity Series presented by Crazy Dog T-shirts and Subbies. We are here at the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway going for 80 laps tonight. Let's pull up our race info. Charlotte Motor Speedway is a 1.5 quad oval shaped track in Concord, North Carolina, and we've got a field out here that is ready to do battle. We've got 14 drivers in total that are trying to get their last bit of points they can to see if they can improve their standings at all. We'll see how today goes. Everybody's out there rolling, so we're going to get you our starting grid for tonight's race. Starting on the pole tonight is going to be none other than the 95 of Kyle Holden. See if we can grab you that graphic in a minute as the drivers roll off. Craig Janzik's going to be rolling off in second. Chris Sawyer second. Craig Janzik in third. Dan Oliver, the 83, fourth. Ollie Valletta, fifth. Tyler Meeks, sixth. Charles Whitehead, seventh. William Mann, eighth. Joe Gregory, ninth. William Mann Jr., 10th. James Harris, 11th. Robert Wynn, 12th. Austin Abel, 13th, and Kevin Ward rounds out our 14-car field for tonight's event. Drivers are going to be working their way around the track behind the pace car. Pace car will be pulling off this time, and we will be going green. Again, this is the season finale. Craig Janzik looks to have a pretty good lock on the points lead. We'll see if anybody else can touch him before the end of tonight. Should be a great event. Got a little bit of a smaller field than we've seen this season. A couple drivers, unfortunately, not able to finish out the season here tonight. It should still have great action. Kyle Holden going to be leading them into the Geico restart zone, and we're going to be getting this race underway here momentarily. Off and rolling. Holden gets a little bit of a slower start, allows Chris Sawyer to try to contend with him on the outside. Looks like Dan Oliver, the 83, having a bit of issues going as well. He lags way back on the outside, so you see Holden and Janzik lined up on the bottom. Chris Sawyer going to battle the outside. Oh, just as I said that, Chris Sawyer goes spinning off to the inside. You see him spinning there on the inside. Retaining wall has a bit of an issue. We stay green as he is out of the racing groove. So early problems for your outside pole sitter, the 25 of Chris Sawyer. Holden's going to lead Janzik across to lead lap one. Janzik working about a lane to his outside as they go into turn number one. Janzik taking a little bit of a later apex, trying to conserve that right front. See behind Holden and Janzik, you have Harley Valletta in the 81, Tyler Meeks in the 35. These two are going to be battling for third and fourth, both improving their starting positions a couple spots here early on. He's starting to get separated out a little bit. Looks like Joe Gregory in the 15 Jordan Toyota Supra trying to work his way up through the field. He's working on the 55 and James Harris. James Harris sporting the Subbies colors. See them work their way back down the backstretch. Looks like Gregory falls in line behind Harris, so Gregory stays in 9th. James Harris in 8th. Do remind everybody that these drivers are going to have sets of tires at their disposal, one fast repair available, and limited fuel capacity, so we're going to see at least one pit stop if we do go green all the way. Allows Chris Sawyer to get the repairs he needed, right that car and get his way back out, take that fast repair. Unfortunately, one lap down early on, but we've seen a rash of cautions lately, so it's very possible that he could try to get that lap back. Back up to the front, though, is Holden. Continues to maintain just a 10th of a second advantage over Craig Janzik. Janzik now trying to run the outside line. Gets a run off of turn 2, cuts underneath Kyle Holden as they go down the backstretch back into turn number 3. Craig Janzik going to momentarily take over the lead, but Kyle Holden's going to try to battle on the outside, see if he can get some of that momentum to work in his favor off of turn 4. They're going to go side by side down the front stretch. Janzik with about a half a car length advantage as they roll across the start-finish line. Janzik going to lead him back into turn number 1, takes the low side. Not quite clear of Kyle Holden. Holden trying to do the best he can to battle on the outside. You see Holden get a little bit of that momentum on the outside as they work their way down the backstretch. That is one of the advantages to running the high lane out of the corners. See almost nose to tail as they work their way out of turn number 4, now back onto the front stretch. Oh, Holden gets a little loose. Might have possibly tagged the wall, but that still puts him almost in a dead heat with Janzik as these two continually keep swapping the lead back and forth. Looks like Janzik going to finally clear Kyle Holden this time, slides up in front of him off at turn number 2. So Janzik now going to take over the lead. Kyle Holden back to second. Also got a great battle back here between Tyler Meeks in the 35 and the 83 of Dan Oliver. Oliver with that bad start fell back a few spots after starting 4th tonight's event. Trying to work his way back into the 4th place as he battles to the inside of Tyler Meeks. They're going to go side by side down the front stretch. Looks like Oliver's going to clear Meeks, slides up just in front of him as they work their way back into turn number 1. So Dan Oliver up to 4th, Tyler Meeks back to 5th. Go back to the field a little bit as we've got a battle brewing between the 51 of Charles Whitehead and the 29 of William Mann Jr. See Whitehead, the it's the 51 Mustang, black carbon fiber, red, white colors there. Mann Jr.'s got the 29 Chevy Camaro there with similar colors as well. These two were in a battle for 9th and 10th, the last top 10 spot. We're side by side. Looks like Mann Jr. trying to get a run down the backstretch to close up to the back bumper of Whitehead. Mann Jr. is going to go up to the high side. Whitehead clipping just a bit of the apron. Looked like he might have lost some momentum there in the middle of 3 and 4. So that allows Mann Jr. to go on by him down the front stretch as they start their 10th lap of tonight's event. To put Mann Jr. up to 9th and Whitehead back to 10th. We've still got a battle here. Just when I thought Craig Jenzik was going to pull away from Kyle Holden, he continues to battle hard. Kyle Holden's not letting him go easily. This is about a half second ahead of the 81 of Harley Valletta. These two running nose to tail as they work their way down the front stretch back into turn number 1. Looks like both of them have elected to go to the bottom now. Field spreading out a little bit, but we still got quite a few cars trying to stay as close as they can. Lap times are starting to fall off a little bit. All drivers are seeing about 3 to 4 tenths of a second fall off so far as we're working our way off at turn number 4 to complete lap 11. Just 69 laps to go tonight's event. Green so far if you're just tuning in. This is the season finale. The Crazy Dogs T-shirts Xfinity Series presented by Crazy Dog T-shirts and Subbies. Janzik trying to go back to back on the race wins. That would make 3 in a row, and would make Craig Jenzik's 5th win in total. Ryan Lorenzo was able to win 2 this season. James Harris winning 1, Kyle Holden winning 1, and Tyler Meeks also winning 1. Kyle Holden trying to finish off the season strong, win another one. Continuing to battle with Janzik. He's going to try to look to the inside. Janzik able to shut the door there. Holden backs off, falls about a car length back from Janzik as they work their way off at turn number 4 here to complete lap number 13. Try to take advantage of the draft behind Janzik, close up as close as he can, but then try to keep the momentum up in the corners as close as he can. Step back as we've got a good battle between William Mann Sr. and William Mann Jr. And Sr. White Castle 57, Camaro on the outside, Mann Jr. in the 29, Camaro on the inside. They're going to go side by side into turn number 3. Looks like Junior's just a little bit faster. He's going to slide up in front of Mann Sr. Mann Sr. a little bit of a wiggle there off of turn 4. See if he can try to reset down the front stretch and make another run at Junior back into turn number 1. He's going to try to look to the inside. Maybe drove it in just a little bit deep. Had to check it up a little bit. He's also got the 16 Robert Wynn now trying to close up to him. Last time by, Robert Wynn was about 4/10 of a second faster than Man Senior. See if that continues on, or if Man Senior's gonna be able to pick it back up. Looks like he has issues. Oh, Wynn pushes a little wide out of turn 4, almost gets into Man Senior, but he's able to complete the pass cleanly. That puts Robert Wynn up to 8th. William Man Senior back down to 9th. Robert Wynn up 5 spots, started 13th tonight. Man Senior holding position, started 9th, still there. Not a bad day for him. Current hard charger, though, is the 6, or the 55 of James Harris, up 6 spots, started 12th tonight, up to 6th place, trying to work his way back into the top 5. Got about a little over 2 seconds though to get to Tyler Meeks, a little bit of a way to go there. We go up though, excuse me, it's about 2 seconds ahead of that junior. You see Harris and Meeks are about to engage into a battle for the top 5. Harris working his way up through the field. He's taking a little bit of a lower line. Tyler Meeks running about 2/3 of the way up through turn 3 and 4. Oh, and he gets into the wall. James Harris gets into him. That's going to send Tyler Meeks going off-roading down the front stretch. Goes bouncing through the AstroTurf. Tries to hang on to it. A little bit loose. Scares William Mann Jr., but Tyler Meeks able to hang on to it. We saw that all live. Able to hang on to it. We still continue to stay green. So just like that, Tyler Meeks falls out of the top 5 and now back to 7th. Out to be under attack by the 16 of Robert Wynn. Man Jr. was able to take advantage of that, get on by, puts him up to 6th. Robert Wynn trying to put himself up to 7th. See, Robert works to the inside. He's about half the lane off the apron there in the middle of 1 and 2. Tyler Meeks working the outside line still. Down the backstretch. Robert Wynn with a really good run though at the backstretch. Meeks just not quite comfortable in that car. Not sure if he's got any suspension damage after making contact with the wall, or if he's just trying to get it settled back in. Tires could also be a bit hot from that off-road excursion. But Robert Wynn does complete the pass, so that puts him up to 7th. Meeks now back to 8th. Go up though as James Harris working his way by Dan Oliver. See that pass completed off of turn number 2. So now Harris up to 4th. Dan Oliver back to 5th. See if he can start opening the gap up from Dan Oliver. The last time by, he was about a quarter of a second faster than Dan Oliver. This time by the line as they both complete lap number 20. Still about a quarter of a second faster, so he's going to be trying to pull away. He's going to have the lap car of Chris Sawyer, the 25 machine, to contend with. Sawyer again had that spin off of turn number 2 early on tonight's race. Kept it out of the racing lane so we stayed green, but unfortunately that put him a lap down even with taking the fast repair. Unfortunate break for him. You see, looks like he's still had a bit of an issue. He's got some rear end damage as well as some left side body damage. Harris going to work by him with no problem. Sawyer being very respectful, trying to stay out of the way. Looks like he goes high for Dan Oliver as well. We've seen some very respectful driving all season long here. Drivers start to run with each other, get to know each other's tendencies, try to gain respect of their competitors as well. Back to the front though, as Kyle Holden has closed the gap back down. Jancic was pulling away momentarily, had it out to about 3/10 of a second advantage. Kyle Holden quickly making a run back at Craig Jancic. So Tyler Meeks having some more issues with that vehicle, so he pulls it on the pit road for an early pit stop. Last time by, Harris or Holden was about 1/10 of a second faster than Jancic, and you see him putting the pressure on as they work their way off at turn number 4 now. Just a couple feet off the back bumper. He's going to fall right behind Jancic, trying to get as much draft as he can down the front stretch. Take advantage of that free toe by Jancic. Dive to the bottom. Trying to work the inside line off of turn number 2. Just not quite able to get enough momentum. Jancic with a little more momentum coming off at turn 2. Helped them stay in front of Holden as they work their way back into lower 3 and 4. Those two almost glued nose to tail, taking nearly identical lines through the corners. Kyle Holden making a quick look to the outside. So they start lap number 25. If you try to scare Janzik up a little bit, see if he can cut to the inside. Now they go back into 1 and 2. Holden going to run the middle of 1 and 2. Janzik going to run the low line. Chance to get a little bit of a better run, but Holden trying to make that outside line work. He closes back within about a half a car length as they go into turn number 3. Janice is just gluing his car to that bottom apron, not wanting to give away any of the inside. Typically, Charlotte does play itself out as a bottom-feeding track, although there can be time to be gained if you work the middle to high parts later on in the run as the tires start to wear out. Taking a little bit of a later entry into the corner, but ultimately working yourself down to that blue and white line at the bottom of the racing surface. Kind of straightening the corner out from there does typically tend to allow a little bit more momentum and faster lap times overall without stressing the right front tire, causing too much wear early on and creating a tight condition where the drivers will have to wait longer before getting back into the throttle or have to slow down a little bit more in the center of the corners. Just ultimately lead to slower lap times. Janzik opening the gap up to about a quarter of a second as they work their way back onto the backstretch. Gap staying pretty consistent. Holden doing a good job trying to stay in his tracks. Last time by, Holden was a little bit slower. Looks like Janzik gonna make this a 2-stop race as he locks it up though and spins it coming into pit road. Oh, he's got Harley Valletta flying in as well. That's going to almost create some chaos on pit road. We're going to keep it here, see how these two sort it out. Rare mistake by Craig Janzik. You do not see that very often at all this season. Very rare that he steps it out of line. Just got on the brakes a little too hot trying to get it down to pit road. Get it woed up. Looks like he and Harley Valletta both are electing to create this as a 2-stop race, run equal thirds. Looks like Kyle Holden's going to do the same. Oh, he does the exact same thing that Janzik did. We've seen now 2 drivers lock it up as they're trying to come off the apron. Oh, Dan Oliver does the same thing. I wonder if drivers are just, if there's a track temperature change that they're just not anticipating what it was going to do, or maybe they hadn't practiced pit stops on cold tires or hot tires, worn tires, and they're not having the grip that they had. But that's 3 drivers we've seen make identical mistakes. Just getting on the brakes too hot coming into pit road. Let's see if I have the broadcaster's curse, if it's going to create the problem when James Harris, the current race leader, elects to come to pit road. I can't imagine they're going to be able to stretch this on one stop, nor do I think the lap times are going to benefit it. We'll take a look when Kyle Holden comes around, completes his first up-to-time lap. Janzik, Valletta, either one of them, we can look and see, all 3 of them, we can see what the lap difference is and see if it's big enough. I gotta imagine we were seeing enough lap fall off that it's going to be a pretty substantial difference in terms of fresh tires versus old tires that Harris is not going to like staying out too long. Glad to have all the viewers tuned in, though. Without you guys, this would not have been possible all season long. Feel free to leave who you're rooting for here in the season finale. If you want to see up in the front, who you seeing have a good day. All right, James Harris going to come in. Let's see if we bring the broadcaster's curse to him, if he's going to lock it up. I think he might have learned from everybody, take a little more cautious of an approach, brings it in safely, so he is now on pit road. Robert Wing going to take over the lead. So to give you an idea, the last time by Harris was at a 32.46. Craig Janzik last time by was at a 31.13. Harley Valletta at a 31.07, and Kyle Holden at a 30.81. So about a second and a half or so of an advantage on the fresh tires compared to the old tires. So wouldn't take too many laps to start closing up that gap if they had stayed out. I think Harris is going to fall a little bit short. Maybe going to try to make the last stop just a splash and go for fuel, maybe right side tires only. Minimize his time on pit road. Second stop. Robert Wynn, though, trying to go for broke. Top 4 have yet to pit tonight. That'd be Robert Wynn in the 16 Ford Mustang, or William Mann Jr., 29 Chevy Camaro, the 6 of Austin Hable, Toyota Supra, and the Toyota Supra of Joe Verger in the 15 machine. all have not come to pit road yet. Looks like Austin Abel electing to pit now. He pits out of the 3rd spot. Charles Whitehead still on pit road for an extended stop as well. This is his 2nd stop of tonight. Win, Man Jr. and Joe Gregory still staying out so far. Once things cycle around, looks like it's going to be the 02 of Craig Janzik, 95 of Kyle Holden, and the 81 of Harley Belletta are going to be your top 3 once we cycle this through. You see the 35 of Tyler Meeks working his way by Robert Wynn, unlapping himself. The next one will be the 55 of James Harris to be worst by. That'll put us with 8 drivers on the lead lap. So we're approaching the halfway mark of today's race. This Man Jr. bows out, pits out of the 3rd position as well. There's just 2 drivers now. Robert Wynn, Joe Gregory left to try to pit. Looks like Robert Wynn going to come in this time. Looks like he slows it down, brings it in safely. Joe Gregory working his way into turn number 3. Once he makes his way around, he will take over the lead. Craig Janzik, though, only about 10 seconds behind him. See the 51. William Mann. Or excuse me, that's Charles Whitehead back on track after his lengthy stay on pit road. So he's going to try to get a lap back. 3 laps down now. So the 6th, Austin Habel working his way by Joe Gregory to unlap himself, as well as the 29 of William Mann Jr. They're going to look, both cars are going to look to get themselves back on the lead lap. Joe Gregory sporting a little bit of a different paint scheme tonight than what we've seen before. A bit of a season finale flash there in the number 15 Jordan Toyota Supra. Got a good combination with that black neon green. Numbers fading to white and that yellow there on the back end of the car. He's leading out just over 5.5 seconds ahead of Janzik. Last time by, he was at a 34.3. Craig Janzik is about 3.5 seconds faster. So this gap going to close down quite quickly. Joe Gregory continuing to stay out. He's definitely running a lot slower. See the 30 or the 112 of Kevin Ward working his way by on laps himself, puts us with 12 cars on the lead lap. And you see Janzik and Holden only about half a corner back. See if they can get their way by them. So they are going to come rocketing by Joe Gregory. Oh, Janzik throws a 3 wide as Chris Sawyer was taking the bottom line. That stalls out Kyle Holden. Bit of a scary moment there. Janzik committed to going to the inside of Joe Gregory and had to come flying through Gregory and Sawyer. Kyle Holden now clearing himself of Chris Sawyer. So again, you have Janzik, Holden, Barletta, Joe Gregory, James Harris, your current top 5. Joe Gregory still needs to pit, though, has not come in for his service tonight. I think he's trying to do this on one stop. Might be able to make it, but he's certainly given up quite a bit of time. Although started the race in 11th tonight, is currently in 5th, so I would assume if he can make this work out, even if he picks up a couple spots, it still was technically a good strategy as it picked him up a couple spots. He is now on pit road, so that will finish out all of our green flag stops as we are going to be halfway done with the race next time by. No cautions yet. Good start to the season finale event here. Kyle Holden trying to close his way back up to Janzik. Last time by was about half a tenth faster. This time by nearly identical lap times. He's got about 4/10 of a second to close up. Try to claw as much as he can. See if he can get by him before the end of this fuel run. Janzik was on pit road at lap number 27. Kyle Holden just 1 lap later. Wouldn't expect to see as many drivers also locking it up and spinning it coming on the pit road. I think they're probably going to learn from that. Make the proper adjustments to ensure that it does not happen again. Chris Sawyer, though, trying to hang around. He's running in the 13th place currently. Got 11 cars on the lead lap. Joe Gregory did fall a lap off after making his green flag stop. Holden closing up to Janzik as he's got the gap now down to just a 1/10.5 of a second. This time by post lap time that's about a 1/10 of a second faster than Craig Janzik. So we're going to see a good battle here. Again, these two resuming this battle for the lead. Just after the halfway mark. 38 laps to go in tonight's event. It's spread out for the most part behind them. Harley Berletta's about 3.5 seconds back from this battle. James Harris is about another 2.5 seconds back from Berletta. Meeks 7.5 seconds back from Harris, so quite a bit of separation for 3rd through 5th. Keep it here though, as this is our best battle on the track. The past few races, these two have been the class of the field. Continuing to swap the lead, battle each other hard but clean every time. Trying to dethrone Janzik, collect his 2nd victory of the season. Keep Janzik from going on a 4-race winning streak to close out the season. Again, follows the draft of Janzik back down into turn number 1. Gonna look to the low side. Janzik goes up high against the outside retaining wall. Gonna run the bottom as they work their way off of turn number 2. Janzik just taking advantage of that momentum on the outside. Able to motor away from Holden down the backstretch. Opens it back up to about a 1/10.5 second as they work their way back into turn number 3. Holden going to try to again get a run on Janzik as they go down the front stretch. Gap under about a 1/10 of a second now. See if Janzik goes back to the high side. No, he elects to go back to the low side this time. Cut off Kyle Holden's line. I think he might be trying to make a bit of an adjustment there. Take the line away from Kyle Holden, force him into an uncomfortable line that he might not be all that happy to take. Holden drives it in deep though. Janzik sticks just a little bit better coming out of turn 4, but Holden still keeping himself right about a 1/10 of a second back as they cross the start-finish line. Looks like William Mann Sr. had a bit of a problem though to get off the track. Oh, but it does bring a caution flag out now. It's going to be our first one for tonight. Man, having a solo spin. See if we can grab a replay of that for you momentarily. This caution could actually provide for some interesting strategies. I could potentially see the drivers coming in, making this final stop for the night, assuming we go green the rest of the way. Already proven you can do it on fuel. Joe Gregory definitely did it. I don't think everybody would want to make 2 more stops and split it in half. Close on the fuel. The fuel should be able to make it. It'll be close on the tire fall off, whether or not that'll happen. All the drivers work their way to catch up to the pace car. Pull up a replay of what happened to William Mann Sr. You see William Mann Sr. getting into the outside wall off of turn number 4. Austin Hable in the 6 DHL Supra working by him, and he's got the 29 of William Mann Jr. working by. I think Senior's going to get back into the wall again. Yeah, he does as he comes out of that first leg of the quad oval. Down the front stretch, starts sending him down to the inside line. He's trying to collect it. Gets into the AstroTurf. That stuff is very, very slick. It's almost like ice and just shoots up the track. Drills the outside retaining wall. Decent front end damage to that. Chevy Camaro slides to the inside. See James Harris coming up there. Makes hard contact with that inside retaining wall. I think he was just, unfortunately, in a little bit of a bad spot. And where he was parked was too close to the racing surface for our officials' liking. That's what threw out that caution. So as I say that, looks like a lot of drivers all on pit road. Top 9 all on pit road here. So we've got some green flag stops going on. Man able to collect himself. Janzik gonna lead the field out of pit road. See Janzik, Holden, Harris. Harris able to pick up a spot over Harley Berletta. Moves Berletta back to 4th. Tyler Meeks still in 5th. Dan Oliver 6th. Joe Gregory, by virtue of staying out, can put himself up to 7th. Austin Hable 8th. Robert Wynn 9th. And William Mann Jr. up to 10th. So you have a couple cars that are off the lead lap just ahead of Craig Janzik. They will get waved around the pace car, I believe, once we get the two to go. We'll get the grid reset here. So we're working just before the halfway mark. Let's start lap 50. So again, we are working our first caution of tonight. Everybody electing to come in top 7. It's like Tyler Meeks and Joe Gregory also coming in under this first caution. So that'll put your top 10 all have pitted under this caution here. Looks like everybody went with 4 tires, full fuel. I believe they're all going to have one more set of tires left. So conceivably could split this into equal stints on like 24 and 25 laps, or 24, 24, depending on when we get the green flag. I can see that definitely being a viable strategy. Even at 23 to 24 mark, we did see quite a bit of tire fall off. Excuse me, there would be about 15 laps on each one. So we'll have 30 laps to go the next time by. I believe we should be getting the 1 to go the next time by. Would be surprised to see a mixed bag of strategy. I could see possibly somebody like maybe Harley Valletta, Dan Oliver, or Austin Hable maybe trying to run the rest of the race, since there shouldn't be any issue with the fuel at all. Maybe trying to save up tires enough that to make those last the rest of the way. I could see somebody like Janzik, Holden, Harris, Valletta. I could see one of them also just basically, again, splitting the remainder of the laps in half. Try to take advantage of that last set of tires. Keep the fresh tires on the car as much as possible. Pace car is going to turn the lights out. We're going to get a few drivers waved around the pace car. Get them on the tail end of the lead lap. So Janzik going to take this lead back over. He had the lead, just going to be leading the field in terms of track position. Kyle Holden's going to be lined up to his outside. James Harris in 3rd. Harley Valletta 4th. Dan Oliver 5th. Austin Hable 6th. Robert Wynn 7th. William Mann Jr. 8th. Tyler Meeks 9th. Joe Gregory going to be 10th. It'll be interesting to see how this strategy unfolds the rest of tonight. We've seen some pretty good on-track battles. We've seen the field behind the front 2 start to get spread out a little bit. Curious to see if anybody tries to take a gamble, maybe pick up some track position or do something different from everybody around them and pick up some spots that way. If everybody's going to do monkey see, monkey do. I'd imagine that these front runners had to have had some sort of plan in place should this caution have fallen when it did. Trying to get some drivers' thoughts later on in post-race interviews. See what they thought of this caution. Pace car's going to be pulling off. We're going to be getting ready to go back green. Janzik going to lead them off. And he gets going as we in the Geico restart zone. He is out to a big advantage already over Holden and Harris. Harris can try to work his way up the inside, falls back in the line behind Holden. Going to dive it back to the bottom. Holden take that little bit of later apex in turn 1. As you can see, side by side, well behind them. Harley Valletta working the outside, and Dan Oliver. Dan Oliver going to fall in line. Side by side between William Mann Jr. and Robert Wynn. Tyler Meeks lurking just behind this. Austin Hable just ahead of the battle. Meeks sliding all the way up the track through 3 and 4. It's Robert Wynn try to get a run back on the inside of Mann Jr. See if he can take that spot back over. Side by side up there, but we're going to go back to the front. Oh, it's Kyle Holden. You see him get a little bit of the apron. It's loose. So Harris is going to try to work his way on the outside for himself in a second. Take advantage of that mistake by Kyle Holden. Robert Wynn shot himself down off the track. Harley Valletta now going to try to take advantage of a weaker Kyle Holden. So it's going to be Janzik, Harris, Holden, Valletta, Oliver, your top 5 as they work their way across the start-finish line. We've got 27 laps to go. It's like Mann Sr. having a bit of an issue. Off the track back on. We'll see if we can grab a replay of what happened in. Janzik, though, loving this. He's out to just under 6/10 of a second advantage. James Harris, 2/10 of a second up ahead of Kyle Holden. See if Holden can recompose himself, try to get back into second place and make another run at Craig Janzik. It's just 26 laps left to go. We're in our final third of tonight's event. Again, this is the season finale for the Crazy Dog t-shirts. Xfinity Series presented by Crazy Dog t-shirts and subbies. Holden closing that gap down now, has just under 2/10 of a second. Both drivers, Harris and Holden, setting their fastest laps of the race the last time by. Holden with the fastest lap of any driver, 30.63. They have quickly closed up to Craig Janzik. I wonder if Janzik might be trying to save tires. Not wear them out quite as fast and do this on that last stop under the caution. Harris and Holden closed up quickly. Last time by, both about a quarter of a second faster than Jensen. So the three-car battle for the lead up here as they work their way through the middle of 3 and 4. Harris about 1/10 of a second behind Craig Janzik. Kyle Holden just a slight bit further back, but nearly equal distance between all three cars. Work almost identical lines as they work their way back in the middle of 1 and 2. You see them all in the bottom blue line. Janzik goes a little bit wider. Harris tries to look to the inside, just not quite there. Go back into turn number 3. Harris pushes just a little bit there on the exit of turn 4, allows Kyle Holden to close up. Craig Janzik to pull away just ever so slightly. Holden's going to be putting the pressure on. He's glad to see Janzik is close in his windshield, but he's going to try to do what he can. We're going to go for a inside the look. With James Harris, this battle here with just 22 laps to go. What he has. Well, Janzik going to go high to the first time, so this is going to give you a really good battle, really good viewpoint of what that outside line is able to do for the momentum. See Harris still working that bottom line. This is what 2/10 of a second behind your drivers in front looks like as a visual. Harris working the wheel pretty smoothly. This car seems to be fairly balanced for him. Got another lap with him though. Car right there. See Janzik doing the same thing right on that white and blue line, trying to work that grip that you can get with those left side tires, help the car corner a little bit better. See Harris, Janzik both fighting a little bit of a loose entry there. Harris pretty smooth though on the wheel. You're not seeing too much of sharp movements both to the left or right and trying to counter steer it or turn it a little bit more as if it's not gripping to the corners. So Craig Janzik taking just a little bit of a later apex into turn 1 and 2 though. It's allowing him to straighten out that corner a little bit. Harris closing up. Great view on board though. Gives you a very, very good perspective of what it looks like here on the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway in one of these Xfinity Series cars. That time Janzik able to pull away a little bit. Harris contending with Kyle Holden. Holden is not let up since he made that mistake. He's clawed back. James Harris is not letting him get away at all. Right pedal up front. They have separated themselves back from Tyler Meeks. They're about 2 1/4 seconds ahead of Tyler Meeks. We've got a good battle going on behind. Go back here for a little bit between Robert Wynn and Harley Barletta. Barletta just free falling after this caution. It's now down to 7th place as Robert Wynn able to work by him. This time by he was about 2/10 of a second faster than Barletta, but Barletta trying to recover. Works the inside line out at turn number 2. They get the draft off of Robert Wynn as they go down the backstretch approaching turn number 3. Wynn line, taking that later apex, but stays about a lane off the bottom. Harley Valletta almost down to the apron there as they work their way out of turn number 4. Robert Wynn gets a little bit of a better run, though. This last time by, nearly identical times for both drivers, though. So it's going to be tough for Harley Valletta to make up that gap. He's only got about 10th and a half to go. He's certainly trying to close his way up. Just 17 laps to do it and recover, though. Knows he's got a couple cars to pass if he wants to get his way into the top 5. You can see him up in his windshield. If anybody's going to split it in half, you're going to see the pit stops starting to come in another lap or two. As I say that, Barletta works the inside line down the front stretch back into turn number 1. He's going to try to clear Robert Wynn as he pushes up in the middle of 1 and 2. See if Wynn tries to get the run off of turn 2 and dive to the inside. He does just that. Can he get to the inside of Harley Barletta, though, into turn number 3? He does. He's going to work the bottom side. Barletta's going to work the middle of the track. See if Barletta can get that outside lane to give him a little bit of momentum. Coming off the front stretch, he does just about a half a car length advantage ahead of Robert Wynn. See if he can open that back up now that he can take a lower line back into turn number 1. Looks like he's going to be content to run the middle of the track. Robert Wynn going to try to get himself down to the apron. Wait, out of turn number 2. So we're going to go back up to the front, though, as Kyle Holden has finally gotten by James Harris. Harris going to try to look to cross over underneath Holden, though. See if he can get the run down the front stretch. They are going to go side by side across the start-finish line. All this with just 14 laps to go. Harris not wanting to let Holden by. I think he realizes that this is his last shot to try to take advantage of anything Janzik. Well, the longer they race, the more it's going to allow Janzik to pull away and the more it's going to put wear on those tires. Looks like everybody's going to be content to just run this out rather than stop for fuel or tires. See if that works out. See if anybody wants to try to gamble, maybe gain something. Harris goes high. Holden dives to the inside back into turn number 1. We're going to swap lines. Holden's going to take the bottom, put himself back into second place. Harris trying to get the run from the top down to the bottom, straight corner out. They get a run down the backstretch all over the back bumper of Kyle Holden. Nearly making contact with that back bumper. Although about a car length of advantage as they work their way off at turn number 4. See if he can start to clear James Harris, set his sights on Craig Janzik. He's got about a full second, though. He's able to clear. Harris pulls back up to Janzik. Last time by, Janzik was about a tenth and a half, or a tenth of a second faster than Kyle Holden, as Kyle Holden was wrapped up in that battle with James Harris. Holden now starting to open that gap up, has it about to a quarter second ahead of James Harris. Last time by, Craig Janzik with a 31.85, Kyle Holden with a 31.72. So that gap standing about 3/4 of a second. Let's see Kyle Holden there in 6, 7, maybe 8 laps. There's 11 to go, so we could see a battle for the lead before the end of tonight's race. Like an interesting storyline developing for sure. We're going to go back, though, as William Mann Jr., Dan Oliver engaged in a battle for 8th and 9th. Last time by, Dan Oliver about a half a tenth faster. We'll see what it looks like this time by as they both cross the start-finish line. They've got just 10 laps to go now. Last time by, Mann Jr. about a tenth of a second faster than Dan Oliver. They'll work their way off of turn number 2. Mann Jr. with about a quarter of a second advantage. Waits to about 2 to 2.5 car lengths. Dan Oliver dragging the wall there on the backstretch. Slows his momentum up just a little bit, but closes in about a car length or so on William Mann Jr. He's going to try to put that 83 Haas Ford Mustang up into 8th place before the end of tonight's race. Last time by, again, about a tenth of a second faster. He's going to work the outside line. Tries to look to the outside of Mann Jr. Not quite able to do it, though. So they're going to work their way down the backstretch into turn number 3. He's got the gap down to just a tenth of a second. Oliver going to work the inside line. Mann Jr. about half car width up off the apron. We're Go back onto the front stretch here. 8 laps to go. Dan Oliver trying to get the run on the outside now, trying to look at a possible crossover to the inside. Looks like Man Jr. is just going to run about a lane off the bottom, try to get defensive, but Oliver will squeak his way to the outside. They're going to go side by side down the backstretch. See if Dan Oliver complete the pass going into turn number 3. Man Jr. is going to dive it into the bottom. You see a little more momentum into the corner. We'll see if Oliver can get that momentum off of the corner. Clear. Oh, man. Oliver gets into the outside retaining wall. Just pushed it a little too wide out of turn number 4. He also goes for a bit of an off-road excursion through the turf front stretch leading into turn number 1. So a little bit of a cough up there by Oliver. Puts him back 9th. Now Holden's got the gap down to just 3.5 tenths of a second. He is slowly pulling in to Craig Janzik. We'll see how this does. We've also got a good battle up here between the 6 of Austin Hable, the 81 of Harley Belletta, and the 16 of Robert Wynn. This is for your final spot in the top 5. Hable running 2/3 of the way up. Belletta slides up in front of him off of turn number 2. Robert Wynn going to try to take advantage of that. Get to the inside of Austin Hables. They work their way down the backstretch. Belletta 5th. Hable 6th. Wynn 7th. Both Wynn and Hable started outside of the top 10, able to find their way into it. Just 5 laps to go. Great job by them. We're going to go up to the front, though, as we've got the battle that we were expecting to see. Now down to a 10th and a half behind Craig Janzik. Last time by, he was about a 10th of a second faster. He's been consistently clicking off faster laps, closing that gap down. Let's see what he can do. Oh, might have tagged the wall just slightly out of turn number 4 on the front stretch, so allows Janzik to pull away. It's going to be the driver that makes the least amount of mistakes here is going to, I think, walk away with the victory. Janzik running the bottom line. We've seen him do this all about just under 2 seconds ahead of James Harris. Harris running 3rd. See what Holden can do. Worked their way by the 51 of William Mann Sr. Or excuse me, that was Charles Whitehead. Whitehead coming on the pit road. 3 laps to go. See if Holden can recover. Last time by, he was about 1/2 tenth of a second behind Craig Janzik in lap time. Let's see what he can do, though. Trying to do the best that he can. Working close to the back end of Craig Janzik. Trying to grind his way back up. Still about 1/4 of a second back. We're having a great battle here. Drivers driving these cars as hard as they can with just 2 laps to go. Nearly identical lap times last time by. Holden knows he's got just over a lap to try to do something. Clawback. I think he's going to wonder if he spent a little bit too much time behind James Harris. White flag is out. This is the final lap. Regular season of the Crazy Dog T-shirts. Xfinity Series presented by Crazy Dog T-shirts and Subbies. Janzik works his way down the backstretch, still maintaining about a 2/10 of a second advantage over Kyle Holden. They're going to work their way into turn number 3. Holden's going to have a last-ditch effort. Oh, he drives it in as deep as he can, just not able to make the car stick. Janzik going to work his way off, and Janzik going to bring it home as your race winner. 4 in a row to close out the season for him. Kyle Holden finishes 2nd, James Harris 3rd, Tyler Meeks going to come home in 4th, Harley Belletta 5th, Robert Wynn 6th, Austin Hable comes home 7th, William Mann Jr. 8th, Dan Oliver 9th, and Joe Gregory going to round out your top 10. Give everybody a few moments to celebrate season end. Janzik's certainly going to celebrate both a race win as well as a season champion great conclusion, though, to the season. Just one caution. Certainly was very clean race. We saw a lot of different storylines. Drivers still battling all over the track. And that wasn't just the battle between Janzik and Holden. So we had some very good action all night long. I see Janzik definitely was not short on fuel or tires as he is burning the house down. Charles Whitehead celebrating his finish, completing out the season. We'll give all these drivers again a few moments to celebrate the end of the season. Some it might not have been the season that they wanted. Looks like Janzik finally gets that motor to expire. Great job by him. Tyler Meeks gonna come join in. Give these drivers minutes. Alright, looks like we've got our podium finishers ready to go, so we are gonna pull in our third place finisher, driver of the number 55 Subbies Toyota Supra, James Harris. I've got with me our third place finisher, driver of the number 55 Toyota Supra, James Harris. James, we certainly saw no lack of action tonight, and a couple drivers having some issues getting on the pit road. Was the track maybe a little bit cooler or slicker than everybody thought, or was it just drivers trying to get all they could coming on the pit road?
I think it was a combination of the track. The track raced tight farther into the run, so I think people were expecting it to be a little more snug when they went down to the apron, and a lot of them got loose and spun out. That plus they were probably charged a little too hard, trying to get too much.
We saw that caution kind of fall just shortly after all the green flag stops were completed. Did that make you have to change your strategy quite a bit, or did you already have something kind of in mind should a caution fall out right around that middle point of the race?
It completely ruined my race. Most of the leaders pitted around. I started in the back tonight just to see how much fun I could have going through the field, and the leaders pitted, I believe, around lap 27, 28. So I was going to wait till 5 laps after that to pit, hoping it would go green the rest of the way. And before that caution come out, I was 4 tenths to half a second faster than those top three a lap, and I was gaining on them quick. So I was hoping it was going to go green the rest of the way because I was going to gain some good time and I was going to short pit them and try to take it. But that caution kind of screwed that up a little bit.
Yeah, we saw some great racing all season long. Had some stretches with some cautions, but overall great racing. Let me know kind of what your thoughts were on as we hit the conclusion of this first season and how you thought everything went.
Man, I had a blast. And, we've had a lot more green flag racing than I thought we would because we have a lot of new guys that we haven't raced with before. And then, of course, we have our core group of guys we've raced with for almost 2 years. But it's been a lot of fun. I think next season we're going to switch it up a little bit and go with the Gen 6 cars and do some racing with that. But this season, I think, has been a success. Very thankful for Crazy Dog T-shirts for coming aboard this season and sponsoring us, and also with Subby's Deli for coming out as associate sponsor. And they will be the main sponsor next week for our All Star race at Atlanta, which I cannot wait for. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, certainly that's going to be a good time. Anybody else you want to send a shout out to or a thank you to or let you go celebrate your third place finish in the conclusion of the season?
Yeah, I want to first of all let me congratulate Craig. That dude's a beast. He's just he's an alien when it comes to this stuff. And I've raced with him almost 2 years, and I'm either right there with him or 1/10 behind him. It seems, but I get happy when I do get a chance to beat him. But that dude's got it. So I want to say congrats to him and congrats. Thanks to all my guys in the league for showing up every week and racing hard and racing clean for the most part. I appreciate everybody that's joined the league and raced all these races. And I want to thank my wife for putting up with all my sim racing and Team Goon Squad for doing some fantastic broadcasts for us this season.
Well, congratulations on not only a great finish tonight, but a great finish over the entire season. And glad to have you on board for a great season. Looking forward to the All Star event next week.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That is your third place finisher driver of the number 55 Subbies Toyota Supra, James Harris. We're going to get our second place finisher driver, the number 95 Toyota Supra, Kyle Holden. Got with me our second place finisher, Kyle Holden. Great finish. You came up just a little bit short of Craig Janzik. I gotta wonder, was that battle there in the closing stages of the races with James Harris just enough maybe to keep you from getting to Craig Janzik and a shot at the race win? Looks like we might be having a bit of issues. Jake Vescan in the
Can you
booth.
hear me now?
Kyle, you got a copy?
I got a copy. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, not a problem.
Um, yeah, we were able to catch up to him when we got around James. James ended up kind of burning his tires a little bit there, so he let me around. And then once we got up to him, there's no place to. I didn't have a chance to kind of get myself to his outside or anything to kind of pinch him down low. 'Cause seems that that was the only way to really get around someone. The bottom line was just dominant here. I think we had a longer, faster car over the long run, but Craig just was able to hold out, getting that high line on out of turn one when I was able to get below him.
We saw too a moment early on for you, right around lap 27, 28 when you came into the pits. A couple drivers, including yourself, had issues getting on the pit road. Was it just maybe a little bit slicker than you thought on those worn out tires trying to get off the track onto the apron for pit road?
Oh yeah, much slicker than I was expecting. Definitely in the ones that I did practice. I got it twice or three times where I actually tried it, and it was a lot more grippy. So I think I was just on the brake too much, and it just swung the car around. And did my best to hold on to it as best I could.
Yeah, we were with the caution there. I was expecting everybody to kind of do the race exactly how you guys do. We're going to split it in even thirds, and then that caution came out around the halfway point and kind of mixed it up. Did you ever entertain any thoughts of maybe splitting that final run in half, trying to take advantage, maybe of some fresher tires, or were you ready to just run it all the way out?
I was definitely planning on pitting around lap 34, 33. That way I can go the rest of the way on fuel. Wanted to try and undercut Craig as much as I could, but yeah, we didn't get that opportunity.
Well, congratulations on a great second place finish. You had the victory earlier on in the season and really showed yourself as a contender the rest of the season. Anybody you want to send a shout out to or thank you to for letting you go celebrate the second place finish in the season finale?
Yeah, of course. Huge thanks to Crazy Dog for putting this on for us, and then you up in the booth. Always love watching it after the race. And a huge shout out to Team Watson Racing for always giving me a great car.
Well, congratulations on a great finish and a great end of the season. Hoping to look forward to see you back here for the All Star race next week and more success in the future.
Appreciate it.
That was your second place finisher, driver of the number 95 Toyota Supra, Kyle Holden. And we are going to grab our race winner, driver of the number 02. That's going to be Craig Janzik. Got with me our race winner, driver of the number 02, Craig Janzik. Craig, you're able to make it four races in a row, bring home the season championship. Tell me, what was the key to success tonight?
Yeah, I thank you. I appreciate that. The key to success for me tonight was actually trying to get the lead as quickly as I could there at the start of the race. Charlotte is one of my worst tracks, and I knew that if I could get the lead, just with how these Xfinity cars are and how hard it is to generate momentum and actually complete passes at Charlotte in general, I knew that getting the lead was going to be huge because I knew that I I was pretty sure that defending it with the high lane was going to be exactly what I needed to do to be able to keep it the whole time. And I mean, Holden definitely probably deserved to win this race. And sometimes it's just a matter of though knowing to use those tools like defending with the high side in one and two, so that you get enough momentum so they can't even touch you in three and four is is something that I was really happy to be able to use to my advantage to not only round out the season with another win here, but bring home the championship in the first season of the Crazy Dog T-shirts Xfinity Series. Feels really good.
Yeah, certainly a job well done. Tonight was not without a hitch, as I would say. We saw you have a bit of an issue coming on the pit road. Tell us what happened there as you were trying to make your first green flag pit stop.
Yeah, God, actually, I'm gonna watch it back here with you and try to try to maybe see if I can figure out what went wrong at any point here. I mean, I really figured I had the car slow down well enough, that's for sure. I think that just that transition of of the banking down to being below the paint line because the paint has so much grip. That blue strip is just everything if you can rip on that. But once I finally got all 4 tires out of the strip, I think I had a little bit too much rear brake still in it from the amount that I was using in the race versus what I needed to actually try to stop the car well enough. And thankfully, we were able to make very insignificant contact with the inside wall there, and had a little bit of an unconventional K turn, and get it going without a whole ton of time lost. I think maybe 5 seconds probably was the actual loss, and then I know Holden had his fair share of struggles doing the same thing the next lap. So it was a mistake for sure. I don't know what I really could have did to do it differently because I was plenty slow, but I just it looks like the exact same thing happened to him. It's like carbon copy, except he locked it down so that he was able to go a little bit straighter. I struggled with trying to save it for a little bit too long. But man, it's funny that we both had those issues, and we were able to come out still pretty even with one another, and put on a pretty good show here, especially in the last run with him coming back to catch me after he got by James there.
Yeah, I think I actually saw like two other drivers do the exact same thing. It was so weird.
Oh my
All within a
gosh.
lap or two of each other, everybody did that. Yeah, it
Yeah.
looked like coming off of that last restart when we had that caution there just after the middle way point that maybe the battle between Holden and Harris kind of delayed Holden from getting to you. Were you hoping to see them run side by side a little bit longer, maybe extend that lead out a little bit more? Or did you feel once you got that jump off the restart that you were in the position to win the rest of the debris?
I thought it's kind of a little bit of a mix of the two. I knew that if I was going to get clear on the restart, that I would still be able to use those defensive tactics of the high line in 1 and 2 to be able to generate enough momentum so that nobody could get to me by the time we got to turn 3. But I was also really happy to see Harrison Holden doing a little bit of battling. It got me about a second total over them, and I do want to think that helped. Um, if Holden was there the whole time, maybe he would have gotten more aggressive, or just by the fact that he was so close that whole time, maybe he would have got a little bit more frustrated and put a bumper to me. I know that's not his style, but you never know what happens around these parts. But no, I think that having the lead was important enough that if I just used the defensive line the entire time when I needed to, that I don't know that he would have gotten by me without a major mistake. So I'll say a little bit of both to that.
Well, certainly a job well done. Not just tonight, but the entire season as a whole. Anybody you want to send a shout out to or thank you before I let you go celebrate not only tonight's victory, but the season championship as well?
Yeah, I got to thank you guys at Goon Squad for the broadcast all season. It's always appreciated to be able to go back and watch these things afterward. So thanks for all your effort this year, and of course thanks to Crazy Dog T-shirts for their league sponsorship. A lot of this wouldn't have even been possible without their support. So huge thanks to them, and huge thanks to the Freeburn Hot Wings morning show, Fresh Juice iRacing Designs, so many people that have had on a couple of cars this year. K Nugs Paint Shop as well was on the Super most of the season. So huge thanks to all them for their support of me as an individual, and thanks to all the viewers out there for sticking with us all season. I know that some of these green flag races can be somewhat boring to watch if you don't have every facet of the game going right in front of you. So thanks to everybody for watching, and yeah, I hope that there's a season 2, and if there is, I'll be back for sure. You know that.
Well, congratulations on a job well done, and looking forward to seeing you hopefully next week in the All Star event.
Yeah, I hope so. That'd be great. I would really like to come out here and have some fun on a more relaxed environment for sure.
Well, congratulations on a great win, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
That was your race winner and season champion, Craig Janzik. That's going to wrap it up for us tonight. We are going to get a look at the results as we had a great race here, the season finale. Again, 14 cars, still able to have 10 of them finish on the lead lap, just one caution. We saw a lot of battles throughout the entire field, a little bit of pit strategy involved, some drama, some drivers spinning onto pit road, mistakes out of some front runners that you were not used to seeing all season. This race had quite a bit and a great way to close out the season, but also just encompassed how great this whole season was for the league. Again, classy drivers, great respect out there, super clean racing, awesome way overall. So again, Craig Janzik bringing it home, 4th victory in a row, 6th overall, brings it home as the season champion. Kyle Holden finishes 2nd, James Harris 3rd, Tyler Meeks brings it home in 4th, and Harley Valletta wraps out your top 5. You see the rest of the finishers on your screen. We're so glad here at Team Goon Squad to be able to broadcast this season. This is not just goodbye for this season. We've got still the All-Star event left to go, but certainly proud to bring you this entire season. Glad to call it from the start to finish, and we had some great racing along the way. Again, want to thank Crazy Dog T-shirts for coming on as the title sponsor, as well as Subbies coming on through the season. The announcement they'll be on as the title sponsor for the next season. It's awesome to hear. Without them, we certainly can do this. And as Craig Jancic said, certainly could not do this without all the fans that tuned in each and every week. We appreciate you, and your support means more than anything. Drivers appreciate having you guys there. We at Team Goon Squad appreciate it here. It's so valuable to have everybody there. So glad to have you all tuned in. And for the final time this regular season, but looking forward to the All-Star race next week. My name is Jacob Fescannon on behalf of Team Good Squad, Crazy Dog T-shirts, Subbies, and all the drivers of the Crazy Dog T-shirts Xfinity Series. Wishing you all a great week, and we'll see you back here next week for the All-Star race. Have a great week, everybody.